see this?
Welcome to
Look at that. Hello and welcome to Gabe in the Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a delicious Carmelita cookie. They're usually like squares, but we're going to do a cookie version. Let's do it. First, we want to get our dry ingredients together. I've just got here some oats. I've got some plain flour. I've got some salt. And I've got some baking soda. Just give that a whisk. As a helpful tip, to prevent overbeating at the later stage, I actually like to add my chocolates to the dry mix. So everything is already pre-mixed before we're ready to go. So I've got in here just a combination of dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and chocolate pellets. You can just use whatever combination you want, honestly. But the total weight of the ingredients is in the description below. So straight in there and just stir that in. And don't forget to add your pecans as well. Pecans. Now I have roasted these lovely, nicely in the oven. You don't have to, but it adds such a nice depth of flavor. So why wouldn't you? Stir that in. Let's do our wet ingredients. So you've got your light brown sugar, you've got your granulated sugar, and melted butter. This is very important. You want the melted butter because it coats the flour and prevents it from getting a bit too cakey. No gluten, basically. So you want your butter melted. I'm just gonna pour that in. Make sure it's cool enough for your egg not to scramble. Give that a stir. And in here, I've got 1 egg and my vanilla extract. It just makes things a little bit easier if you just pre-mix everything. You really don't have to do any of this. This is just me being me. Straight in. I'm gonna give that a good whisk till everything comes together. Now I should say, you can use a stand mix for this, but it is not necessary. Good old elbow grease is all you need for this. Just keep going, man. And now all we have to do is combine the two. It is literally that easy. Usually the dry ingredients goes over the wet ingredients, but because I've got a bigger mixing bowl with the dry ingredients, I'm just gonna pour the wet ingredients on the top instead. You wanna mix this till it comes together and you get a cookie dough. This will need chilling in the fridge, of course. So when you have your wet looking mixture, do not panic. That is exactly what it's supposed to look like. We're just gonna take this, put it in the fridge till it sets, and it will get way, way harder. About 30 minutes should be fine. Okay, so we've chilled our cookie dough, ready to go. And I've got here salted caramel white chocolate ganache. Now, this is optional, but I highly recommend you make it. The recipe is gonna be on the channel as well. I'll leave a link here. You just watch it. It's just quick shorts. You figure out how to make it, no biggie. But it does add a significant amount of time to this whole process. So if you wanna do that, go for it, and it's great addition to this recipe. I've got a medium scoop. It's about 2 tablespoons here. And I'm just gonna grab, whoo, this is hard. Oh, that smells great. Can you smell the pecans? You guys smell it too. 2 tablespoons to make the base. Oh my God. In fact, I'll do the bases first, and then I'll come back around. So get your bases ready. So when we've got about 12, we're just gonna make like a well. Once you've got your well, we're gonna need 1 teaspoon of our caramel. So just go through and then fill. So now we're gonna cover these into a nice bowl. So rather than just use what we've got here, I'm just gonna get an extra tablespoon. Whoa, you see that? Dang. So I'll grab a bit like so, place it over the top just to cover that up, grab the whole thing, and then just give it a nice seal. Just like that. Now this part is optional, well, half optional. You have to chill these, of course. I'm gonna freeze them to get them super chilled. And you can do that in the baking tray as is, and then cook it later, or you can put them in a separate tub. And the reason for putting them in a separate tub is because I like to preheat my baking tray with the oven. So I want to get it nice and hot. It makes a nice crispy base right there. When the baking tray is hot and you put it on and you bake it, you get a nice seal at the bottom, which I prefer. So I'm gonna take mine off and freeze them, but you don't have to.
No soggy bottoms here.
Also, before I go, make sure you're preheating your oven while your cookie dough chills in the fridge or the freezer, whichever you've opted for. So you want it at 180 degrees Celsius. Preheat it with this, your baking tray, if that's what you're doing. If you're not, then don't. But yes, I'm gonna preheat mine with the baking tray at 180 degrees Celsius. Guys, piping hot, we're just gonna really quickly get our cookies on. And we're gonna cook them for about 10 to 12 minutes, depending on how frozen yours are. We have had a somewhat of an explosion. At least it smells brilliant in the kitchen. But yeah, my caramel has exploded out. So for those of you who aren't using caramel fillings, you don't have to worry about any of this. But for those of you who are, yeah, you want you want it in the middle. I don't think 2 tablespoons at the bottom and 1 on the top is enough to really cover it. So yeah, go 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons. But yes, lessons learned. At least you've seen my mistakes, so you don't have to repeat it. I'm gonna use the oldest trick in the book, which is one of these ring cutters, just to... But yes, regardless of how yours turns out, you wanna leave these on here to cool down for at least 10 minutes before you even think about moving them. Because again, yeah, especially if they're stuffed, leave them to cool. Now these two. See guys, you just gotta use your noggin a little bit, you know? Everything is salvageable. Ta-da! Right, we'll let these cool as they are, and they're gonna turn out beautifully. And now that we've given it 10 minutes to chill, I actually did put it in the fridge to speed things up a little bit. These are now ready to be picked up. And if you look at the bottom, that is why I say preheat your pan. See that? Beautiful. Rest them on a wire rack so they can cool completely. In hindsight, make sure you freeze your caramel before you put them in the middle, because they melt a bit slower and they don't spread as much. And of course, add more cookie dough over the top to keep it in. But hey, this, I don't think I'd change anything, to be honest. If you don't want to see the caramel peeking out, do that. If you don't mind, yeah, just carry on and do exactly what I did. They look beautiful. And there you have it. Delicious Carmelita cookies. These are gonna be so delicious. Look at that, guys. Okay, come closer. Let me show you something. See this? Look at that. They taste as good as they look. I promise you. Give these a go. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you. Whoop! And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Here's a perfect example of waiting till it freezes before you bake. Keeps it nice and intact.